The average radio listener listens for 18 minutes. The average
Yergz
fan listens for, are you ready for this? An hour and 20 minutes.
How can that be?
Answer most commonly given, I want to see what he'll say next.
All right, okay, fine. But what about the people who hate Yergz?
Good point. The average skater listens for 2.5 hours a day.
Look, but if they hate him, why do they listen?
Most common answer, I want to see what he'll say next.
There we go. All right. This is up the middle. Politics for the rest of us. From your, well, okay. Well, that's timed right. I was going to say, I'm Yergz, the host, a voice that sounds like yours. Do you smoke 4 packs a day? Because that's what that certainly sounded like. Can't call that one sexy or confident. But we are conservative. We are liberal. We are progressive. We are everything that the majority of our listeners are as well. Yesterday, speaking of listeners, shout out to a neighbor of mine who let me in on a little secret that I've got other neighbors listening to the show. So a shout out to all of them too. I don't know who you are, because one of the things he said was, it was flattering to me. I mean, just that you're talking about me at all as a shock jock is flattering to me. But apparently, I have neighbors talking about my Facebook photo, my profile picture, where I'm in my underwear. And apparently, some of the guys are commenting as essentially, I mean, let's call it what it is. I look good in the picture. I look good in the picture. I do. I was much more buff then. And truth be told, it is not a recent picture. I think I know that I've said this already in the past couple of weeks since that photo has been launched. I've used it before. On the circle, on the profile, the first time I used it, I did from like the thighs up. And so you could see that not only am I buff, pretty slapped together, muscular, but also pretty gifted too, as an underwear model should be. Well, the grief that I got from particular family members, also known as parents, at the age of an adult, like, why are they caring what I do with my social media? Well, one of the things they even cared about was what the people at their church would think. I don't care what the people at your church would think. I don't even know where I'm going with that. But basically, like with being dissed, I think that's where I was. What is it that I say? I say something here. I'm not seeing anything where it's written down and I can't remember. Oh, yes, do your homework. If people would do their homework, maybe we'd have a lot of different decisions. But these folks, my neighbors, were doing their homework. And I guess what I didn't know is that when Facebook shows you Ross Yerger changed his profile photo, in that post on your wall, it actually shows the entire photo. I didn't know that. Oh, well. So my friend, my one neighbor who I knew listens to the show, he stuck, he was pretty solid. He stuck up for me. He said, well, now, if that was another neighbor of ours who showed a picture of a woman in a bikini, would you be okay with that? And they were like, yeah. So, what's the difference? You don't like this one because you're not gay. But maybe your wife likes it because you certainly don't look like that. And I know they were all thinking that. I don't think my neighbor actually said that to him, but that was kind of the gist. Different strokes for different folks kind of thing. And maybe the wife does. 'Cause I say that none of these people look like that because I at least know my neighbors. I don't know the specific neighbors that my neighbor was talking to. He wouldn't say. I know who he hangs out with, and I know who he talks to in the neighborhood, but I don't care. But a shout out to him because one of the things, and this is why, people need to look into us further. We do have an influence, a positive influence. I was really tickled by this. I was really proud of this when he told me. On Monday, Jane and I talked about me needing to more regularly and consistently, and I'm actually stomping my foot when I say this, and get to the gym. And Jane and I were talking about, if I stay home from the gym, and I got to get this in my head, today I'm going to figure something out and go. But if I stay home from the gym because I want to get work done, I didn't get any editing done yesterday. I got the 2-hour show put together into one file, in an audio file, so it could be played on Yergz Radio and the other stations. That's it. That's all I got done. I didn't get it chopped up into different segments so it can be put on the RSS feed. I'm like, I don't know how far behind on episodes like that. And I got to work out a pattern. But I've also got to get back in the gym because that photo, this is all coming together now, that photo that's on my Facebook profile is me. That is what I used to look like. And I put it there for me because this job has me on all of my social media so frequently. I just felt that if I would see that photo more frequently, it would remind me of what could be and what used to be, and not too long ago. Which means I can get it back. So can you. And on Monday, my neighbor Rick, having heard that episode, went to the gym. I was so thrilled to hear that. So shout out to Rick today. And let's put that up. Let's bring out another old thing we haven't been doing for a little while. Pierre's Pot, named in honor of Pierre Robert from 93.3 WMMR in Philadelphia, has been there his entire radio career. Was originally from San Francisco and had been with one station while in San Francisco. That during his time there, his brief time there, changed their format to country. And he beat feet and said, no, this ain't me. While unemployed, a buddy of his said, hey, I need a ride to Philadelphia. I need to go to school. His friend was going to college in Philly. I don't know if it was Temple, Penn, St. Joe's, whatever. I don't know. But was going to school in Philly, needed a ride. So they hopped in Minerva 1, his first Volkswagen Bug minivan, the minivan of the day. Yeah, not a Volkswagen Bug, sorry, Volkswagen minivan. Hopped in Minerva, and across the country they went. While visiting, he sent a tape to a guy named Joe Buonadonna, program director or GM, I don't know what he was at the time, for 93.3 WMMR, one of Philly's rock stations. He was told no. So bummed, he kind of hung out with his friend in Philadelphia and saw a psychic who told him he needed to go home. There was a very important letter waiting for him. So he goes back to his buddy's place, begins to pack up, and as he's headed out the door, his buddy stops him and says, "Hey, wait a minute, I forgot. You got this letter sent to his buddy's place, home." And it was a letter from Joe Bonadonna at 93.3 WMMR saying, "We've reconsidered. We would like for you to do the same. Would you come be a DJ at our station?" We almost missed one of rock's most dedicated and knowledgeable disc jockeys in rock history. And he's like 70 years old. And Pierre Robert has been at MMR ever since. He's now on Minerva number 2 or 3. It was broken down in front of the station. It was just sitting there as kind of like an icon. This is where the station is, because this piece of crap minivan is parked out front. And when I say Volkswagen minivan, it was the Volkswagen minivan, as you know them, but it was all painted in like, peace and love and, that kind of thing. You think I got long hair? You should see Pierre. He's got the beard to match. The city came after him, said, "Hey, these things got to go." So one of the body shops, in exchange for ads, of course, redid Minerva. Now it is not only like the Mastiff Media minivan, it is not only his car again, but it is what he takes to and from various events where he makes appearances at. The MMR barbecue, something like that. They have a barbecue. They just had it a couple of weeks ago. The beginning of every summer. And there's like big concerts. He's got pictures of himself with like all the coolest rock stars, from like classic rock, Mick Jagger and Led Zeppelin and all those, and bands that I have no idea who they are, but they're big deal today. And so he does a thing called a Toast of the Morning Sauce, where he takes a good citizen, as he calls them, aka listener, and gives them that toast and tells the story about what they did. And our story today is my neighbor Rick, who stood up for his underwear model, neighbor, and disc jockey, and was also inspired by that conversation to get his own self into the gym and begin that process. I doubt either one of us are going to be modeling underwear again anytime soon, but at least we're going to be healthy when we don't do it. So here it is to you with this month's Pride mug. To my neighbor Rick, a toast of the morning sauce in your direction. Well done, and thank you, pal. Thank you for also providing me an excuse to have another sip of coffee. All right, it's well past half hour. I got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the auto pen. Do we want to do that first? Or maybe let's talk about DeSantis. We're talking about Florida people. We'll talk about Ron DeSantis crying about lawfare and the Hope Florida Foundation and how they can't seem to find $10 million. Imagine. This is Up the Middle on the Mastiff Media Network. We'll be back after these words. What are you doing later? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to the gym, but not just any gym. Momentum Fitness and Wellness. Walk right up to the door. There's a QR code on the door. You can sign up right there. You've got no excuse. But not only that, their equipment is amazing. It's kept up well. It's expanded. There's stretching area. There's CrossFit. There's hardcore training. A dedicated area for stretching, dunk tanks, sauna, everything you need to get that Hernando beach body or keep your Clearwater beach body. You can train with your shirt off, you can scream, you can yell, and you won't be intimidated either. Go to Momentum Fitness and Wellness on US 19 in Bayonet Point, Jasmine Estates. Build the momentum. Is Growth Collective and Build the Space. The timer started. The timer started. Biz Growth Collective. We're on there right now, as we are every day. I had to actually adjust something on it. Biz Growth Collective. That is the future of business networking. Forget about LinkedIn. You're going to be censored. They're going to be talking about stupid shit that ain't a part of networking. It's just like, I think LinkedIn has become Facebook for people with egos. Because I'm an executive, so I know what I'm talking about. I actually corrected somebody on there last fall, and I got kicked off. That's LinkedIn. Biz Growth Collective, however, there's an opportunity for stupid posts like that. It's about networking. It's about getting your business license if you don't have one yet. It's about actually doing business. Go figure. Wow. Networking, where you actually do business. And it's done by a company. You can see it up there in the corner of the screen. Build a Space is the name of the company. So scan both of these QR codes. Build a Space does some really great work. I'm happy with where Yergz.com is going. They're spearheading that. And the Biz Growth Collective is an excellent tool that your business needs to be using. Go to bizgrowthcollective.com, sign up today. Also check out the company making it, Build a Space, by going to builda.space. Their name is their address. Let's see who's in the chat. Good Lord. I gotta get caught up here. Hello, everybody. Supervan Ken says, good morning, gang, and happy Wednesday. Yeah, Ken says, if I stole $10 million, I would be in jail. Yeah, it's because your name isn't Ron DeSantis. You're not a fascist. Travis Evans from The Point with Travis Evans saying good morning. Good morning, pal. Good to see you. Ken tells me I'm pronouncing it correctly. That must be Joss, Jonathan Joss. Ken giving a shout out to Travis. Travis, I think, Travis is checking out my picture. Awesome. I think if you're around, I'd like to have you on Friday's show. If your schedule allows for it. Ken says churches are a point of control. Yeah, it's in fact the old function of the church, the colonial times. That was your local government. That was what the church was. And that's part of separation of church and state, is that they shouldn't be the same thing. Maybe a new gym commercial and add the gym owner in the photo. Just an ideal. I think that's supposed to be just an idea, but I get you. Yeah, I can actually show you the gym owner. He looks like he owns a gym. Straight, so I'm not gonna go there. But he's actually in my screensavers because there's something that he said that I've used on the show. I'll share this screen here. There we go. That's Anthony Gilio. He checks in occasionally too, usually through Instagram. You can see his screen name, Mr. Momentum. That's from a movie. Mr. Momentum has changed direction. Is that like Happy Gilmore or something? His quote here, Joe's quote here is, they are not, or I'm sorry, Anthony's quote here rather, they are not ready. They're not ready to see you succeed. They're not ready to watch you get healthy. They're not ready to see you grow. Whether in size of muscle or size of what's in your underwear, they're not ready to see you grow. But you are. This is your time to rise above the doubts, the noise, and the naysayers. Start now. Start strong. Momentum is everything. And this is not a week ago. That's when I took it was that old, 39 seconds old, and I replied and took the screenshot and told him I'm going to use this for the daily segment, Morning Motivation. And I have already. But there you go again. Rick, you are ready. Get back to that, obviously, or you wouldn't have gone on Monday. There we go, it's a little better. But that's Anthony. Dude's jacked. And I ran into his wife at the grocery store. Wow, does that boy eat? Good Lord. That's the only picture I have of him. That's their logo since rebranding. And that's been in like the past year or so, I think. I don't know. But they used to be Monster Mouse Fitness. The House of the Mouse. Monster Mouse Gym, something like that. And they had this like nuclear steroided out mouse as a mascot. It was pretty cool. But I think they're going a little, they're competing with places like Planet Fitness and all these other corporate businesses that can come in and have these ridiculously low memberships because they're in volume. So they don't really care. Because they're marketing to people who aren't going to be coming in anyway. This guy's charging a normal price and is getting the dedicated people, but he's paying his bills. He had some serious cuts and losses when these other gyms came in. And that's why, another reason why I'm going to continue to support him. Because unlike some people who just up and say no because it's an easy thing to do, I get membership by coming there, and every day you hear about them. And yeah, I love the gym. I just got to get my fat ass in. All right. Ron DeSantis is, you know what I think about him. Now, Fox News is saying that he's punching back at Hope Florida controversy and likens lawfare to the attacks on Trump and nominees. No, the attacks on Trump and the nominees aren't lawfare. It's because, like Trump, all his nominees suck. You've got a Secretary of Homeland Security who does not know what habeas corpus is. You've got an Attorney General who has blatantly weaponized the FBI. You've got a director and deputy director of the FBI who are nothing more than her bitch. And she's Trump's bitch. None of these people are advising Trump on anything. You'll hear that in hour number 2 when we talk about the briefings they try to give this guy. You've got a Secretary of Defense who, wait to hear this story. Oh, I got to get this up. I forgot about that. Do you know who Harvey Milk is? He was a city council member like the 70s or 80s. Was openly gay back in a time when that was not an idea. You weren't openly gay. In fact, his office was right around the corner from a historical landmark, one of the first gay bars in San Francisco, was one of the first in the country to have windows. And the reason for that is, the reason you didn't have windows as a gay bar is because you didn't want your boss walking by looking to confirm the rumors and see if you're in one of them, in one of these gay bars. Well, the Twin Turrets Inn, it's this castle-looking building on the corner of Castro and Market Streets in San Francisco, in the Castro district, didn't care, and neither did their patrons. And it's the corner walls, the exterior walls are all glass. Beautiful building, great bar. But sadly, when I was there in the early 2000s, it seemed to be the original members from there, those who were there in the 80s, because now the place is nicknamed the Glass Coffin in Heaven's Waiting Room. It's an older crowd. Anyway, Harvey Milk was from that district and was elected as an openly gay member of San Francisco's City Council. He's also a Navy veteran. He was assassinated in City Hall by an uber conservative. Are we seeing any patterns here? By an uber conservative member. In the movie Milk, Harvey Milk was played by Sean Penn. Outstanding job. From what I know about Harvey Milk, he did very well in portraying who and how Harvey lived his life. I had a cigarette with Sean at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Yeah, true story. He just broke up with, I'm brain farting on who he had just recently had a divorce with. Don't remember. But TMZ and the paparazzi, and they were all following him. So he gets to the corner of where the hotel is, and that corner was posted, meaning nobody could come. You can't cross this line. Well, I could. And I knew who he was, so I could escort him legally. That's if I know who I'm escorting and where they're going, they can come with me. So I was going to walk him around the building to the VIP magnetometers because he's still going to get scanned. He wasn't scanned yet. He could be carrying a gun. He's still going to go through the metal detectors. He wasn't in that far into the secure area. And I never would have There's no reason for me to ever have him be escorted that way without at least first going through the MAGs. I can take him right up to the front of the line and say, he needs to come with me, put him through here first. And the uniform division will do that. That's standard. But we're walking past the garage. There's this carport that was built at what we call the Hinckley Hilton. The reason why we call it that is because it's the Washington Hilton in Washington, D.C., where Reagan was shot. And in the exact spot where Reagan was shot, if you took a photo of, Jerry Parr putting Reagan into the limo, and I forget the black dude's name. The black dude in the photo has his gun up in the air and is in like the half Sabrina. We call that the half Sabrina from Charlie's Angels. When your gun's pointed in the air and you only have one hand on it, a full Sabrina, there's two hands. And you would never be like that. That's not what we do. It's a TV thing. He's in a half Sabrina, which is everybody, Danny, it's coming. He was the special agent in charge of the Philadelphia field office when I did my initial interview. He's the guy that interviewed me. And so, not Triplett. Tony Triplett was another black dude who was a squared away dude. Danny Spriggs is the guy in that photo. And in addition to the half Sabrina, some other things throughout his career, apparently he's been known for not exactly doing properly. Well, I say that the initial interview that he did of me was one of the things that he thumbs up, because all he would have had to do is say, no, I don't like this guy, and that's it, my career's over. I don't even get another interview. But nope, he made a good choice there. So in the exact spot where the assassination attempt took place is now a carport. Because one of the things we learned from that was that we should, whenever possible, and they did have a pull-in garage, whenever possible, we should be loading and offloading and loading our protectees in a covered and secure area, indoors. Or in other places, we build a tent, at over top of the arrival departure area. Literally a tent. They pull the cars in, the limo and the spare limo, or actually, rather the limo and the follow-up. So the Cadillac that the president is in, there's two. He's in one, the other's a spare. He's in one, that one stays in the tent. The Suburban that we're in comes in behind him. They close the doors on the tent, and then we all get out. The Hilton built a carport over that spot of the driveway that has garage doors on either side. And so now it's brick and good quality garage doors, so I'm going to say. And we're standing in the garage door. Sean Penn and I are standing in the garage door. And he says, we walk past that spot. And he says, can I have a cigarette first? Like, yeah, but you got to do it out here. Yeah, cool. But we stand kind of in the garage door, so he's away from the view of the paparazzi. And then, the agent was this new kid that was posted there, because everything we touch has an agent there, keeping it that way. And this agent lost his mind. Oh, you can't bring him here. What are you doing? I'm like, yes, I can. One. Two. Do you see who it is? He's fine. I'm watching him. I'm here. He's smoking a cigarette. Have one with him. Chill out. By the way, my role for that particular night, I'll never forget that night. I'll never forget that night. I was the lead advance for the intelligence analysis, the threat analysis for that one visit. So I knew that Fox News and all those people were going to be there. I knew what was going on with some of the guests. So I knew that Sean just broke up with somebody, whoever it was. During the event, President Obama is at the podium, and I'm standing in the back of the room with my partner, an agent named Luis Enriquez. And we're listening to the jokes, and I'll tell you what, Barack Obama's funny. I know he doesn't actually write the material. His staff brings actual professional comics in, and they write all that shit for him. But that doesn't, you can give the best jokes in the world to Donald Trump. And when you got a personality of a toilet seat like he does, it's not going to be that funny, because delivery and timing, such key elements to stand-up comedy. And Barack's up there. He starts busting on Donald Trump, who's at the event. Way before there was even talk about him possibly being a successor. I think this might have been, well, I'll tell you when it was, because of the story. This was a Saturday night, May 30th. I just don't remember the year. You'll be able to research it when I tell you the rest of the story. Saturday night, May 30th. I'm standing in the back of the dining room, of the banquet room. God, must be 500 to 1,000 people in this thing. Seriously. And he's going through his jokes, and my partner and I are laughing because he's got great delivery. Obama's got great personality and delivery. He starts to bust on Trump's balls. And it was right after an episode of Celebrity Apprentice where he fired Gary Busey, where he fired actor Gary Busey. And he mentions that because firing Gary Busey, and I'm not going to do it justice, but here goes. Because firing Gary Busey, these are the things I worry about at night. As president of the United States, he worries about firing Gary Busey. Yeah, no. And I turned and I looked to Lewis, who turned and looked to me. And he looks to his left, like I'm looking to the left in the camera. And he just points to the stage and says, I'm getting chills thinking about this. And he just says that there was a message in that, wasn't there? And I'm like, yeah. Now, I gave you the date for a reason. That was Saturday, May 30th. On the evening of Monday, June 1st, Barack Obama came back on international television from the White House and made the announcement that Navy SEALs got Osama bin Laden. Now, do the math. And when I saw that on the news, I immediately called Lewis. And he, caller ID, or he knew who would be calling, one of the two. Yergz, that was the message. And it was. Because if you do the math, we can actually. WorldTimeBuddy.com. We'll say that was 9 p.m. I'm going to have to, I don't know if I have enough room or not. Where's today? I got to come back out of this. There we go. Pakistan. I think he was in Lahore. No, Islamabad. Wasn't it? Wasn't it Islamabad? Well, I mean, they're all the same thing. So, Lahore, Pakistan. I'm going to move this up to where we're at here so you can see the difference. This is us in the eastern Washington, D.C. versus Pakistan. We'll say that joke was given at about 8:30 p.m. It was, that's Monday, here is Saturday. It was already 5:30 a.m. on Sunday. It's already the next day. These guys have to plan, which they've probably kind of sort of already done. But they've got to practice. They've got to review intelligence. And by dinner time, less than 48 hours later, the mission was over. Bin Laden was buried at sea, respectful to Muslim beliefs. It was done. And even with the downed helicopter inside the compound, the mission was considered a success. Done. They're back at the base. Over. He would have had to give in the order probably right before going to the White House Correspondents' Dinner Saturday night. So that punchline, but Barack Obama would have had to give the order, give the okay to do it, probably while getting ready for the White House Correspondents' Dinner. So when he tells Donald Trump that firing Gary Busey are the things he worries about, yeah, that's a joke. And yeah, there was a message there. Think about that story when you listen to the current president and his state media, Fox News, bitching about a president that's no longer in office. And when you don't hear them bitching about a president they should be bitching about. Barack Obama is an example, just one example of what real presidents do. I promise you we're going to talk about Ron DeSantis too. That piece of shit. I can. Okay. Let me take one more break. When we come back, we will get to Ron DeSantis, I promise. I don't know that we're going to get to everything today. That's kind of a thing. Radio X Country, Radio Gold, ZQR, DNR Cast, the Biz Growth Collective, Right Talk Radio, Forward Radio, Rainbow Radio, Yergz Radio, and the rest of the Mastiff Media Network. This is Up the Middle. We'll be back after these words. Hey gang, my name's Yergz. I'm the CEO of the Yergz Group and Mastiff Media. We're partnering with Dare Media of Australia and are looking for new content. Do you have a podcast? Or maybe a live stream? Does it have a positive message? Is it about sports? Is it political? Is it news coverage? Is it for the LGBT community? Or is it even music? Don't forget, we're partnering with Dare Media of Australia. So not only could your program be heard on our stations here in the United States, but also in Australia. So if that's you, send us an email on air at yergzradio.com. That's on air at yergzradio.com. The yergz.radio URL does not have email. On air at yergzradio.com. And let's get you on air. I don't know if you hear some bouncing around during that commercial. Like a rubber ball bouncing around. My puppy was playing with one of those Kongs. It's a big rubber honeycomb looking thing while I was recording that commercial. And I was like saying things in between her bouncing the thing around, and some of it was just you know what, this is funny, I'm going to do it. Broken Mirror of Memory, Barack and Other Tales. I gotta start my timer. I got a timer for this too. Make sure that I actually talk about these things for the required amount of time. Broken Mirror of Memory, Barack and Other Tales by Joseph Soul. Scan that QR code. Purchase your copy today. However, we're working on a deal, Joseph and I, to sell that very book. This one right here on your screen. On mastiff.media. Autographed copies. And if I can swing it for less than what you can get on Amazon. So stay tuned. Sea Ranch Civic Association, that's the one up there. Go to mysrca.com if you're on audio and you don't see the QR codes, or you don't have your phone handy. Go to mysrca.com. Check out the Sea Ranch Civic Association if you're in the Nature Coast of Florida or the northern Tampa Bay, Hernando County, Pasco County, Pinellas County, those general areas. Really, really good group to be a part of. They do a bunch of community service things, plus community events, farmers markets, breakfasts that they serve once a month in the community building. You can rent the hall for activities and events of your own, and so many other things. Go to mysrca.com. Check them out and sign up today. All right. Robin. Hey, gang, it's Yergz. One of the things we've learned is to take our 2-hour show and split it up into segments. This ends the segment on this issue. Hang tight. The rest of the show is in the next episode. Thanks for listening.
You've changed. You know that?
Yes, I suppose I have. How about this? Peace, love, dope. Now get the hell out of here!